And I'm going to run through it. I'm not going to be for you very long because I like to get straight to the point. 14 and 8. Now at Lystra, there was a man sitting who could not use his feet. He was crippled from birth and had never walked. He listened to Paul speak, and Paul, looking intently at him and seeing that he had faith to be made well, said in a loud voice, "Stand upright on your feet." And he sprang up and began to walk. And when the crowd saw that Paul had done, they lifted their voices, saying, "Lysonia, the gods have known down to us the likeness of men." They began to worship Paul. And Barnabas they called Zeus, and Paul they called Hermes, because he was the chief speaker. And the priest of Zeus, whose temple was at the entrance to the city, brought oxen and garlands and to the gates, and wanted to offer a sacrifice to the crowd. But when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard of it, they tore their garments and rushed into the crowd, crying out, "Men, why are these doing these things? We are men of like nature with you, and we bring you good news, that you should turn from these vain things to a living God, who made the heavens and the earth, and the sea and all that dwells in them. In past generations he allowed all the nations to walk in their own ways, yet did not leave himself without witness. For he did good by giving you rain from the heavens and fruit from seasons, satisfying your hearts with food and gladness. Even with these words, they scarcely restrained the people from offering sacrifices to them. But, 19, the Jews came from Antioch and Iconium and had persuaded the crowd. They stoned Paul and dragged him out to the city, supposing he was dead. But when the disciples gathered around him, he rose up and entered the city the next day and went on to Barnabas to Derbe. I'm going to stop right there. I want to go back to when he said, but when the Jews came to Antioch and Iconium and pursued the crowds, they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, supposing he was dead. My subject today will be, when you just thought it was over. When you just thought it was over. Have you ever been in a situation when people know your business, know your trial, know your tribulation, know everything about you, know what you've been through? You don't lost your job, you don't lost your car, you don't lost your family, you don't lost loved ones, you don't lost everything that pretty much kept you stable and kept you sane. You even don't lost your health. And when they see you, they say, "Oh, it's a wrap. Ain't no coming back from this." But when they turn around and they see you on your feet, it's like, "Oh, where did that come from?" Just when you thought it was over. Just like Paul. Ain't it funny how, if you really look at it, like, when Paul performed those miracles, healed the crippled and the blind and everything else, and how the people came forward, was like, "Oh my God, these are gods. They are men of God." They wanted to start worshiping them and, oh my God, and sacrificing all kinds of things to them because they seen something that they never seen before. And Paul like, "Hold up. We are not gods.